Greetings, fam and friend. Great day to you. Yes, I'm coming to you live from the garage show. I'm not in the garage today, but I'm on the office side, but I am coming to you live. Um, is there such a thing as good grief? So that's the message for today. But before I get into this, I want to say shout out to Carlos Palmer. As you can see, I'm rocking a Carlos Palmer original. Carlos Palmer is one of Baltimore's very own fashion icon. So if you like this dress that I'm wearing, I did post pictures earlier. This dress is a beautiful dress, and it would fit any woman's figure, whether you're slim like me, whether you're voluptuous, or whether you're a curvy woman. This is a wraparound dress, a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful dress. It is so comfortable and it feels good on, and it's sexy and it's classy. I'm just wanting to let you know that if you're interested in a dress like this, check out Carlos Palmer on Palmer Carlos on Instagram, or you could hit him up at Carlos Palmer on Facebook, and his name is spelled Carlous Palmer, Palmer. So I just got mine today, and I want to encourage you, ladies and gentlemen. We know Mark, we know Louis, we know Calvin. I'm not saying last names, but it's time to know Carlos Palmer, which is one of our very own. And if you're going to spend your dollars, vest them in our own and keep it in the fam. So I just want to tell you, I'm very excited to have this. It's very classy. This is one of his originals, and I am excited. So on another note, is there such a thing as good grief? Many people are going through this holiday. Some of you are in great moods and you're in a festive mood. But for many people, it's not the case. There are a lot of people that have a hard time around the holidays, particularly those that have lost loved ones. This is a time where people that suffer from depression or mental illness, or the pain of losing loved ones, they feel it the most. So this message is for those of you that may be going through it right now. Is there such a thing as good grief? I remember on the Peanuts, they used to say, "Good grief, Charlie Brown." For those of you that know me intimately, I never say good morning, because I never want to wish morning on anyone. I don't find anything good about it. And you might say, but they're spelled differently. Yes, one's MOURNING and the other one is MORNING. But they sound the same, and the vibration and the sound of it coming off your mouth is the same frequency. Therefore, I say greetings. So if you dress me with that, I won't respond to that. And I'm not being rude. It's because I'm using my word these days with willful intent. So getting back to those of you that are going through it right now, if you've lost a loved one, grieving is part of the process that you have to go through. It's not good. It never feels good. It's very painful and it hurts like heck. But today I want to talk about how you go through it. How you go through it is very, very important. One of the things I want to say is, number one, in going through it, remember. A lot of things, times the memory of the loss of the loved one is so intense. But I want you to redirect that memory and now channel it into remembering those things that were good about the loved ones. Those things those laughs, remember that thing that you held most dear. What was their favorite food, their favorite colors? What lessons did you learn? Start remembering those things. What were their strengths? Remember those things about the individual. So I want to say, one, remember, like Simba, remember. Okay, remember the ancestors. That's one. Number two is start a new tradition. And you might be like, Yvette, what do you know about this? I do know. I was acquainted with grief. I lost my dad, the dog, a dear friend, and of all things, a child. in 2016 in 1 year, so I do know a thing or two about going through it. So what I'd like to say is, one, remember to start a new tradition. This year, what I did is I got pictures of my daughter and I put them all up. We did it at the office. And I cooked food and I invited the fam and some friends over to all go around the room and just hold her in the light and think about the good things that I could remember, and what was those cherished moments or those things, incidents that we remember the most. And we went around the room over breaking bread, and we did that. So we were remembering. And I remember years ago that before I had an understanding of the Day of the Dead for the Hispanic cultures, the Latin culture, I thought, when you're in the church, sometimes they don't teach you all this. You saw them skulls. I was like, oh my gosh, it's demonic. It's of the devil. It's this. Is No, it wasn't. I went to go see the movie. I think the title was Coco with my grandson. And I realized that it was about them spending one day out of the year to remember their loved ones. Cook food, bring their pictures out to honor them. Cook food, even leave food out for them, the ancestors. Those are traditions that they hold dear. And once I had an understanding, I was like, I could borrow from this. And I did that this year. It wasn't on the Day of the Dead, but on the actual anniversary of her passing, I did that. So I want to encourage you to start new traditions. I just had a dear friend of mine call, and she was saying that it's a challenge around this time of the year is when her mom passed. It's been a long time, but every time around this year she goes through it. And then she just found out that her siblings also go through it as well. Starting new traditions. Might I suggest that you can eat, whether if you share in the same household, cooking a meal, remembering together and talking about the good times, those beautiful things. Could it be a conference call, putting everybody, maybe it's going to be a Zoom call, excuse me, maybe your FaceTime, and do it that way. But remember, start the new tradition. You can start it. If we can continue celebrating man-made holidays like Columbus Day, and we know that all of that was just a lie, and we're still celebrating it, why can't we start new and healthy traditions in our families? So I want to encourage you, remember, start a new tradition. And then 3, it's okay to cry. It's okay to cry. Man, woman, it's okay to cry. Little boy, little girl, teenager, if you're hurting, it's okay to cry. It's okay. It's a very human reaction. Give yourself the space that you need if you're going through it heavy. And if you need to cry, cry. But I just want to say, don't dwell there. Don't stay there. Number 4, don't isolate yourself. It's very easy when you're going through this to shut yourselves off in your room, shut yourself off from your families. I did it because I didn't want to see people to see me hurting and see me crying and see me. So I isolated myself for a very long time. And you may not feel like talking. Communicate that. Say, I thank you for coming and just sitting with me. I'm not in a mood to talk, but thank you for sitting. Don't isolate yourself. Surround yourself with people that love you, that care about you, that are to support. And just so they don't have to keep guessing where you are, share. I'm really not up to talking right now, But sometimes it's good, the comfort of having people around. Sometimes you feel like, I don't want nobody around. And sometimes you feel like you're glad that people are checking in on you. So those are some of the things that I want to share. Number 1, remember. Number 2, start a new tradition. Number 3, it's okay to cry. And number 4, don't isolate yourself. So that's what I want to say. And then I also want to address those of you with COVID. Some of you, it may be even fresher because you just lost loved ones. It never gets old because you love who you love. But some people have lost people as early as this year, and it's even fresher for them. So I want to encourage you, if that's you, or if you know that these times that you might employ doing those things. And if not, my other thing is at number 5, you can always write a journal. Write down. If you can't express it, you don't want to talk about it, for some of you, you might want to write it. right? Write it down. Write what you remember, the good things, you know. So those are some of the things that help me that I want to share to pass, and I hope it is my hope that it will help you. And I also want to address those of you that you may not have had the wherewithal financially to do what you normally do around the holidays. I just want to remind you that these material things don't go with us, right? During the Christmas time when I was growing up, my mom, we had everything. When I say everything, everything: underwear, socks, robes, clothes, toys, everything, everything. But you know what? My mom couldn't enjoy it with us because she was depressed. Depressed because she spent all her money. And you know what? We just wanted her to play with us. She couldn't play with us because always during the holidays, she was always depressed, worrying about the bills. I'll tell you a tradition that I did when I was celebrating it like that. For those of you, I'm just going to keep it real. Everybody wasn't born with a silver spoon in their mouth. So I didn't raise my children up on, you got to have the highest price thing. If it was a lean year, I gave them 3 things to pick off their list. That's what they picked. And I tried to get them those 3 things, but I tried to instill different values in them, you know. So if that's you and you can't do it this year, that's fine. You can create, again, a new tradition. One, you got for loved ones, bake cookies, bake a cake, make your own Christmas ornaments, make your own gifts. You know what I'm saying? Play games, interact with each other, create new memories, because you can't take any of this stuff with you. And the children, your loved ones, your husband, your wife, your fams, your friends, they're going to remember that. And then you got some of the bougie ones that's going to look at you like, girl, she gave me this gift. She must ain't had no money. Don't worry about them. They got their own problems. If they're thinking like that and they can't appreciate the love that you put into the gift, it's not even worth focusing your energy on people like that, because they're in a whole nother mentality and they need some deliverance in some other area with their stinking thinking. And those people, they don't matter. So I just want to encourage you, don't go into debt on this holiday. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses and the Browns, because some of them that's showing all that is AstroTurf, girl. It look like grass, but it's AstroTurf. So do what you can do without going into debt. But the most important that your children will remember is the love, the time that you give them, the attention that you give them, the love. Do things, create new memories with your child. They will never forget that. I remember opening stuff and eat brand new stuff. I played with the box. The novelty of it after a while wears off, and you know, my mind was creative, so I'm thinking on making stuff. So all of that stuff at a couple of days, it didn't matter, it gets old. But love never gets old. Attention and time never gets old. Focus on those things. Remember, for those of you that celebrate it like this, remember, what is the real meaning behind Christmas? What is it really about? Are you just caught up in the commercialization of it? Or are you doing it for whatever the reason that your good book says? So I just wanted to encourage you to focus on what's important. What's important. So I hope this has helped. I want to encourage you, if you like my Carlos Palmer original, you too can get your own Carlos Palmer original. So you can head over again to Carlos Palmer on Facebook, CarlousPalmer, or you can look at Palmer Carlos on Instagram. Hit him up. He has an upcoming seminar, thinking about fashion design. You can design your own. He'll show you how. So I'll try to put the link in the description below to check him out. Hope you have enjoyed this message. Not on the garage, but it's still from the garage. So, and you know what time it is, because what happens in the garage stays in the garage. Happy holidays. Mwah.